You need to make friends with the janitors. But seriously, you do.
Dun dun dun. Dun dun. Dun dun dun. Boom.
I really like games and having fun. During grad school, I played the Diffusion of Innovation simulation. While the main reason I played it was to have fun, I justified the time I spent on it by the principles it taught me. Hidden in that list is the importance of janitors to you as a faculty member. I'll explain. The purpose of the game is to learn about some of the tasks necessary to get your innovation to be used by more and more people. In the case of the game, trying to get a school to adopt a student mentoring program, but that's not the important thing. In the game, you use time as your main resource, and you spend it by talking to different people to convince them to adopt your innovation. People you can talk to include other teachers, the principal's secretary, and of course the janitor. Interestingly enough, the janitor is an important person to talk to because they're the one who's going to support you with building access, room setup, and other things as you put together presentations. A couple fun stories. At my first full-time teaching position, I made it a point to chat with the janitors when I had the time. Obviously, because it was a job, part of the purpose was to get to know folks that I might need to work with. But another part of it was just to get to know people because I care about them. One of the janitors retired while I was there, in part because of his wife's health. Times were a bit rough for him, and he came back to visit from time to time. I was one of the few people that he chose to sit down and talk story with. It wasn't a very instrumental or transactional relationship, but university work isn't just about business. Having friends like him helped keep that job real and meaningful, and that's part of how you survive an academic job, or any job really. But when he left, he introduced me to the new main janitor for my building. She and I didn't talk as much, but we did talk a little, and some of that amicability was passed from the first janitor to the next. So as it happened, one time I needed to requisition some furniture for my office or for my center, so I went to her office to ask for help. I remember her getting on the phone to call up the chain of command, and during the conversation she says, "Yeah, it's for Eric Young. He's a professor, but he's actually a really good guy." But he's actually a good guy. This breaks my paradigm that everyone just gets along and works together well. That maybe janitors feel like they get bossed around, particularly by professors. So it's also no coincidence that at a later time, the janitors just sort of turned a blind eye to me when I skipped the formal process for getting some other furniture moved that I needed done right away. A couple years after that, I attended another university as a student to take a couple classes for fun. As a student, I had no particular projects to work on at the university, but as usual, I made friends with the janitor at one of the cultural centers. Not long later, he brought me some homegrown mangoes as a gift and told me I need to make friends with locals so they keep bringing me local mangoes. I mean, that's not exactly why I befriended him, but I've worked as a laborer before, and in other similar positions far less glamorous than faculty work. Glamorous. And I appreciate the hard work people in those positions do. If you think about it, you know how much fun it is to clean a toilet, and public toilets are just that much more fun. And among other jobs, janitors just keep those things at least passable for how much traffic they get. Definitely a good reason to treat a janitor well. And while it's also true that I like having friends from a variety of backgrounds, that's not really the reason, more of an added benefit. The fact of the matter is there are some cool people out there in a lot of different jobs, and you can learn something from all of them. One of my favorite examples of this was actually a French professor who had graduated from Yale. Like most people, I saw his Yale background as a big deal. Like, he must be smart on a whole different level than me. I remember one time as a grad student, I sat with him at a French club activity, and he asked me what I liked to do. Among other things, I honestly told him, video games. It felt kind of stupid telling this guy with a confident demeanor and a great academic pedigree that, in my spare time, I liked playing race car and going vroom vroom on the TV. His response was a great memory, and a lesson for me. His first reaction was to ask me what kind of games, and what I liked about them. And what came out of that discussion was how I enjoy good simulations and love seeing some of the same design principles at work in games that we try to apply in education. Long story short, we had a very interesting and even a little bit academic discussion about video games. And the point is that he didn't see himself as a Yale graduate. He saw himself as a person, A person who cares about other people and who likes to learn. The Yale thing just gave him the tools to think really well about life and connect on different levels about different things. A bit like the janitor who gave me the mangoes, where both the janitor and the professor's interactions and passions in life weren't so much tied to their professional identity as they were to caring about other people. So where we started out talking about the importance of talking to janitors, the principle is really about the value of meeting lots of other people in your academic position. Good luck out there. Thanks for watching. Share a comment in the comments section about times janitors have come to your rescue, or any interactions you've had with them. And be sure to hit both the like and subscribe buttons, as that really helps out small channels like mine. And share these videos with friends and teachers if you think they'd be useful resources in your classes. See you in the next video.